Alright, so I have made enough cocktails from this book to trust that when Sasha Petraske says that it's good, it's good. I can trust his palate, it's gonna be similar to mine. Everything that he likes so far, I've liked, and I've made probably half the cocktails from the book now. But the thing is, today, I'm scared. I'm scared because this recipe involves celery and a generous pinch of salt. Now, you might know already from watching my saladito video that I like salt. I like salt quite a bit. But a generous pinch? A generous pinch? That's a lot of salt, Sasha. I just don't see how this is gonna work. As I said, this recipe comes from the book Regarding Cocktails by Sasha Petraske, and it's basically a Tom Collins with celery and salt. So to put this together, you need 2 matchsticks of fresh celery. I don't think it's meant as a literal measurement because matchsticks can be quite variable in size, but it gives us a bit of a word picture of what we're aiming for. I think this would be a little big, and this is pretty much ideal. Once you've cut your matchsticks, add them to your shaker tin and give them a muddle. Then add 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice, a generous pinch of kosher salt, which I took to mean a maxed out 3-finger pinch. Yep, I'm going with that. Then 2 ounces of your preferred gin. This one is fairly juniper forward with spruce and huckleberries adding a Pacific Northwest touch to round out the flavors. Then add some cracked ice and a large solid cube. Combine with the cocktail, lock the tin, and give it a good shake. Then add an ice spear to a Collins glass and strain the cocktail over the ice. Finally, top with soda water and add a straw. And that is the KT Collins. Not really sure how this is gonna go. Alright, well, usually I would say this is the best part of the video, and I am looking forward to this, but I don't know what to think about this. Like, every time I've made a cocktail from that book and I thought it was gonna be weird, it ended up being, like, incredibly good. But I don't know, man. It faintly does smell of celery. It's amazing how much flavor came out of those 2 little thin strips, so... Alright, you know what? I don't see any salt at the bottom. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. Bottoms up. How does that work? Okay, first of all, it's about as salty as a saladito. Maybe a little tiny bit saltier, but I think overall your salt intake is going to be less, and definitely less pronounced, than a salt-rimmed margarita. Secondly, I do think that this gin was a really good choice because it's pretty savory. I think I've said that before when I've used it. It's kind of got a savoriness from the spruce that they use in it and kind of behaves in cocktails a lot like rosemary. So coming back to this, it's surprisingly fruity. The lemon comes through really well. There's just a hint of celery, and I think the salt, all it does is sort of boost that flavor up, and then you get all the botanicals of the gin. It's like a Tom Collins, but just savory, I guess. It's so weird that it actually works. I mean, like, the flavor isn't weird. The fact that the flavor isn't weird is weird to me. I've got to trust that book. Like, everything in it is so good, and Sasha's been so influential. I should trust that by now, but and I'm not putting on an act for this. I saw this in the cocktail book a long time ago, and I was like, I'm never freaking making that. Like, what the heck? Celery and a generous pinch, okay? So, like, a big 3-finger pinch of salt, right? I guess that's 4. So, let's see here. That was 5. So, a 3-finger pinch of salt, right? That's how much salt I put in there, right? Not a little bit. I figure the chef 3-finger pinch is the appropriate amount. And it's the right amount. Now, if you did that with, like, really fine, like, Morton salt or something, you know, like you might use for canning or pickling, things like that, that would probably be twice as salty. So don't do that. When it says kosher salt, use kosher salt. It tastes like the garden in the best way. It tastes like a salad with a really fresh vinaigrette on it. Like, that's kind of the vibe that it has. I mean, when I say that, I mean like it tastes like a Tom Collins, right? Because that's what it is. It's a Tom Collins with 2 extra ingredients. But it tastes like that, but with this sort of like really nice salad sort of flavor with it. Think of that in the most positive light that you can, right? If you hate salad, then you might hate this. But if you enjoy a good green salad with a good vinaigrette or a Caesar dressing, something like that, which this might be bordering more towards Caesar territory because it's kind of savory. There's like an umami-ness to it. Umami-ness? Umami? There's an umami to it? An umami-ness to it? I don't know, but it's savory. It's savory and it's really good. So would I make this again? You know, I think that I would. I personally would prefer something like a Gordon's Cup, but this lives in a similar flavor space to that. This is simpler. It's simpler on the palate. It's easier to drink because Gordon's Cup has all that crap in it, which is part of its charm, right? Let's be real. It's part of its charm. This thing is pretty easy, you know? It's just a little bit of celery, muddle it, some salt, sugar, lemon, gin, shake it, club soda. It's pretty easy. Well, anything sounds easy if you can say it fast. Anyway, I hope you guys give this a try because it is surprisingly good for how weird it sounds. If you like the video, hit the button. If you don't like the video, hit the other button and let me know why in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Luke, and this has been the Homemade Edition. I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.